Alright, guys, so today's podcast is number 79 from the P Alpha Music Podcast. I'm your host, Pablo Ruiz Vargas. Today's topic is going to be how to stop being soft and sensitive. Okay, so what I'm going to do is, like always, I'm going to just talk about a little bit, and then at the end, I'm going to give you a couple tips where you can just, make sure stop being soft and sensitive. Let's start with the first one. The first question that you have to ask before you even hear my advice or my tips. I want to say I'm not a professional, but I'm just giving you my guide of how I became less soft and sensitive throughout the years, and what things helped me out to just combat against those little demons, right? The first question you have to ask yourself is, how sensitive are you? Okay, how sensitive are you? Sensitive in regards from a scale of 1 to 10. Inside the scale, you're at 8 or 9, and or you are at 2 or 3. If you're 5 right in the middle, 5 or 6, right? And try not to get to the 7, right? Because 7 means that your brain just want to think that you are high enough, but low enough, right? The 7. If you're 7, it means that you haven't reached your conclusion yet. It has to be a 6 or 8, okay? So eliminating 7, how much sensitive are you from a scale of 1 to 10, okay? Now, after you answer that question, now you have to step back. Like I always say, you step back. It's better to see the fight from the bleachers than fighting yourself, right? When you're fighting, you're performing mode, okay? You're performing, okay? You're inside the fight, right? But you're performing mode. You cannot see your flaw. You cannot see your mistake. You cannot see the good things that you're doing, your improvement. That's why you have to go to the bleachers and see the fight, or watch the fight after on a video, just to make sure you're clear and what the hell are you doing. You might be doing things that you thought before, oh, I didn't think these things were soft or sensitive, but now I know. Oh, okay, that give me another perspective. That's the first thing you have to just consider when we do this kind of exercises. If you're on a scale above 7, right, you need help, right? That means that anything triggers you. Anything that you see in social media triggers you. Anything that you do with your family triggers you. Anything that is not in your favor triggers you. And you are in the traffic light, it's red. You're getting frustrated. A guy look at you wrongly. You want to say something back. You oversensitive, okay? And in reality, you're not a strong guy, right? You have a soft spot for those things. That's why you get triggered. Now, talking about soft meaning that anything is emotion for you. Anything is just a cry here. I mean, anything is just in the good side of things, right? You cannot make decisions. You have to rely too many people for opinions to make a decision. You don't want to make opinions, or you don't want to make decisions. All those things, right, are traits of you being soft, okay? Now, I'm going to teach you how a couple things you can just fix today to stop being soft and sensitive. Number 1, let's start with a simple fact, writing down your emotions or feelings, right? And I learned this back in the David Angelo's days, back in the early 2000s, pickup artist, dating community coming up. And the first thing he said, it was not the first thing, but one of his rules, I think was the 77 rules of the alpha males. He said, try to write down your emotions, okay? And try to learn from your emotions. Why he said that? What's the reason behind that? Let's call it technique, right? Let's just go technical here. Technique. The reason is because an emotion is something abstract that you cannot really see, right? You just react to things. You're emotional, invested into things, so therefore you react. You're not proactive. The reason you want to write down your feelings or what you feel is because you can see it. See? Now you can see it for what it is. Okay? Let's say that you go down the street and someone walk the other side of the street, and somehow that triggers you. You became sensitive to that for some reason. You say, okay, you go online or YouTube video and you search, okay, why the hell I got triggered by someone just walking on the street? And then you're gonna have results, right? Of course, you have to write it down. After you write it down and start doing your research, now you start understanding why it is that you react that way you react. Okay, now it becomes concrete. Now you have better control. See, the important thing about feelings in general is that you want to have control of them. Okay, because they are very impulsive. Okay, being soft and sensitive, right, connect to both, because you're either side, right? Soft, I mean, you're afraid to make a decision because you have an emotional restraint of scarcity, and sensitive is because anything that happens in your life, you just want to explode, boom. That's why you have to write down how you feel, and that way you can see it, look information, make sure it's concrete enough where, let's say, where when you start learning about it, you can understand yourself better. Okay? Let's go to the next one. Figure out what makes you sensitive. Okay, figure out what makes you sensitive. And this game goes deeper than you think. You have to start thinking like, why when a female, for example, rejects me, I get very sensitive. We have to go back. Might be a trauma, right? A trauma. And a lot of these reactions because we have trauma in the past, right? We have some sort of trauma, and figuring out that trauma is a big step to understanding why you react the way you react, why you're sensitive to things, or why you're submissive to things, very soft. Okay. That's where you have to really dig down, and you have to really understand yourself. And this is where therapy, of course, comes in. Writing down things as in journal, right? And you start figuring out, okay, let's say when I get triggered like this, this kind of emotion happens, and why is that happening? That's when you have to do your homework and really go down deep. I will suggest a therapist myself. Therapist that can just help you out with that line, helping you out with that area, since it's very sensitive. Okay, we all have traumas in our life. Our traumas, everybody has traumas. Okay, we're not perfect here. Okay, this is not the perfect world. Now, the thing is how you deal with those traumas. Okay, and sometimes being sensitive, emotionally sensitive, is because trauma happened. Maybe you have a hard incoming, right? Your parents were not good, or they were completely good, and then you develop this kind of hard, tough skin, right? Where you never learn skills to make decisions, or having strong emotional attachment to yourself. Therefore, you're always falling off into the submissive side. All those things have trauma connected, so I would just suggest for you to do the same. Just seek for help. Figure out what makes you sensitive. Next one. Don't be too hard on yourself, okay? Listen, we have tough days, we have good days, okay? Not everything needs to be fixed in one day, okay? Let's say that you start being very strong with yourself, and you say, you know what? Let me just be conscious about my emotions today, and I'm gonna do my best to make sure I don't get sensitive with people or my emotions. Okay, start from there. You're gonna get a lot of hiccups, but it's not about the hiccups, it's how much you come back. It's all about the comeback. It's all about the comeback. If you stumble on something, wake up and move to the next one. It's all about the comeback. If you hit yourself, right, with a situation that you get oversensitive and you start screaming or you start crying or the world feels too much for you and you just go to a little corner and you don't want to, talk to nobody, okay, you just lost the battle. Because you needed to know that right when you make the decision to make some changes, life is gonna throw you curveballs. Now it's up to you to learn how to see that curveball and hit it. Okay? That's when you get knocked down, you get up, right? Don't be too hard on yourself. You need to learn the skill. This is all a skill. It's all a skill. You need to learn it. Like anything else, you learn how to play piano. You learn how to sing. You learn how to write. You learn how to have conversations. All these are skills. And you have to approach this as such, okay? Next one, limit overthinking. Limit overthinking. Don't overthink things too much. And we all get caught up on this. Overthinking. Don't do it. Like I always say, step back. Boom. Something happened. The emotion sinked in. Let it sink in. Step back. Take a deep breath. Think about the now. Move forward and let that emotion just fade away. Fade away. Let it be. And move forward. It's all about that momentum. It's not about being knocked out and not getting up. No, go with the momentum. And don't think about it. Time will take care of it. Okay? Time will take care of it. And this requires a lot of patience. And the reason is because when you're learning skills, right, the first thing that we need to just have on our mind is gonna take time, right? And you should not overthink it. You should just let it be from now on, okay? Just let it flow, let it build up, and these emotions gonna just really, really tackle you from different directions. And when you're soft, I'm not saying that you have to look strong on this. Soft, it could be for anything. Soft could be for temptations, okay? How soft you are for temptations, right? That count as well. That's still an emotion. That's still something attached for your impulse. To your impulse, I mean. Okay? And that's the hardest one. When you're soft on your impulses, where you have no control at all of what your body is reacting to, right? And you cannot hold yourself back to it. And that's where you build real character. Okay? The real characters are built when you have a strong sense of mindset. That soft side that you have for things, sugar, yeah, hypersexualized things like porn, fapping, all that stuff. Yeah, make sure that you have a strong area in your softer areas. Start being sensitive on those areas as well. And don't overthink it. Just learn how to just move along with it every day. Each day, one day at a time. 1 minute at a time. 1 hour at a time. Okay? Think before you act and be open for feedback. Okay? And this one is very difficult because that means that your ego will be between you and the other person. Now, allowing your ego, of course, to just receive the information, it's gonna be a very hard thing because it's hard. If you never work on yourself, of course, your ego is big. It's way too big because it's just telling you that you're perfect, you have no problems. Only the world have problems. Okay? Have some feedbacks, and the feedbacks. I would not suggest feedbacks from people surround you. I would suggest feedback from professionals. Of course, people that are in the self-help world, people that deal with, you know, uh, therapists, all those people that can give you some kind of feedback. And the reason is because a feedback is just a way to just get through your skull. Okay, school is very hard to just get through. I don't know why, and I think I have an idea why. Ego is not something that's completely wrong. It's just a mechanism of defense of who you are as an individual, right? We don't want to be an imperfect person. Isn't it interesting? You don't want to be imperfect in a world of imperfections. So you want to pretend to be perfect in that world. So ego is the one right there and there, but you can just go through it. Go to a self-help person that can just give you feedbacks on that regard. Go to a therapist, he can give you feedback as well, and just get that information. Let it sink in like a seed. Don't get it too personal. Okay, that's the source. Okay, don't get too personal. It's just feedback. Okay, and that's where your training or stop being sensitive start working. We see the feedback and oh, important one. Go to a sales job, sales job, because you need constant feedback. A sales job will help you with that one. Yeah. Make sure that in that same line, when something how can I say this? When that impulse comes in, think about it first. Think about it first. Imagine you making that action in your brain, and how will you feel after making the action before you even make that action in real time. That's one of the best exercise to just tackle that one. Think before you act. Imagine you acting on that. Imagine how you feel after acting like that. It feels bad. Okay, that's the reason. Pull back. Do not do it in your real time, because what happens is you get lower in your self-esteem. Okay. Of course, you get softer in your impulses. That's what a soft person is. Soft person is not the only one that, you know, let people just step on it and stuff like that. That's not the only soft area that you need to work. You need to work in the area of compulsiveness. Okay, that is the most dangerous and difficult area to deal with. Don't be soft in those areas. And of course, don't be sensitive when you get the feedback, okay? Next one, the last one. It is not about you. It's not about you. It started thinking that it was all about you, but it's not about you. It's about all the people that are around you. And these people are family members, mom, pop, sister, brothers, son, wife, friends. It's important for you to always keep yourself composed, and that way they can just enjoy the best of yourself. Okay, that's very important. And then from there you can just rebuild your base and then build a stronger house, which is very important. It's not about you. When you have those tough moments, think about that. Oh man, this is gonna happen. It's not about me. Family. It's about my kids. It's about my brother. All those things, right? And that make it more personal when you're making these decisions. All right. That's pretty much for the list of how to stop being soft and sensitive. Of course, I'm not a professional on this, but I like to just give my opinion, some on my tips of how I handle these situations. We're not all perfect, but at the same time, when I do these kind of things, I re-educate myself, and that way I can just always keep myself humble, which is more important, and I can just give to other people who might need it. Okay, make sure that you like and subscribe. You listen to the podcast on YouTube, and you are listening to the Anchor.fm P Alpha Music Podcast. Make sure that you share the content. I'm gonna really appreciate it. This was episode number 79. how to stop being soft and sensitive. This is your host, Pablo Vargas. I'm out.